All right. Welcome to the Life with Joey Cavo podcast. I am Joey Cavo. Today I have an awesome guest. We're going to get to her in a moment. But before we get there, I got to introduce you to this drink called Magic Mind. It's been handling my stress for a little bit. And I came across this and tried it. If you're a matcha tea fan, you'll love the taste to it. I'm not much of a big matcha tea fan, but it has helped me um, boost my energy and focus and crush procrastination. It has started to do that, and it elevates the mental clarity. So let me take this down. And just one shot a day with 12 magical ingredients will get your day really moving and in a better direction. Right now, you can get Magic Mind at Sprouts Farmers Market that is near you. If there's not one, you can. Only this January, they will help you gear up to crush your 2024 New Year's resolutions fully focused. You get 1 month for free when you're subscribing for 3 months at https://www.magicmind.com/JAN Joey CA. Use my code JoeyCA20. It's an extra 20% off, which gets you 75% off. This only lasts until January 31st, so hurry up before it goes away. So today our guest is the very beautiful VIctoria Gallagher. She is a hypnotherapist and very worldwide at that. Let's see. She's also a best-selling author, international speaker, licensed sex coach, and renowned authority on the law of attraction. So, VIctoria, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Joey.
Thank you.
You're going to be all pepped up and focused for our interview.
Yes. Oh yeah. We got the magic. Yeah, we got the Magic Mind now.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I can give you a magic mind through hypnotherapy.
Oh, wait. The Magic Mind I'm thinking of right now, you don't want to think of. Okay, that's a whole different episode right there. That's a way different episode.
Right. Yeah, I probably don't want to.
No.
Open up a whole can of worms there.
Yeah.
A whole can of mushrooms.
Yeah. Because that has been a while. So let's repress that for a little bit. I mean, believe me, you're truly beautiful for that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So, in all seriousness, now, that was a good way to start that off. All right. We never get this funny this quick. So, VIctoria, explain to me how you got to where we're at right now.
All right. Well, this is it's a very interesting question because there's so many different points in time that I could say, okay, it was this point that kind of got me there. But the part that really comes to mind, it really started back when I was doing really well as a stockbroker back in like 98 or so. I was in a completely different field altogether. Kind of followed in my father's footsteps. He did that for like 30 years. And, I was doing really well. I had a corner office. I had my own assistant. I was making 6 figures a year, dressed nice, had a nice body, had a nice husband, nice house, nice car, the whole 9 yards. I had everything you could possibly want, right? And so you would think I would be like grinning from ear to ear, happy as a lark. And I wasn't. I was really stressed out. I was really anxious all the time. And I started having this issue where I just couldn't even I just felt depressed. Like I couldn't get out of bed and I didn't know why.
Mhm.
And so that led me to seek a therapist. And the
Mhm.
therapist recommended that I take this, this personal development training. And so I took this training. It was a 4-day weekend seminar retreat. And, we did all of these amazing closed eye techniques. We just kept doing another process and closing our eyes and opening our eyes. And every time we closed our eyes and we opened our eyes, I felt a little bit better about my life. And I really felt like, wow, this is such a eye-opening experience. And I really got to know myself. And we did some really cool things that just were very mind-blowing. I mean, just like, some psychic phenomenon and all kinds of cool things. And that really turned me on to this kind of work. I said, I've got to get into this field somehow. And so I didn't know exactly what that looked like. And I sort of began a pursuit. And at the time, I made a recording for myself. It was like a little meditative recording. There was this book. It says, okay, now make this recording. So my boyfriend at the time owned a recording studio, and I went in there and I recorded this. I put beautiful background music behind it,
Mhm.
and I let somebody else listen to it, and they loved it. I loved it. I loved making it. I loved writing it, and I'm like, that's what I want to do.
Mhm.
I want to help transform people using the power of their mind in a safe way from the comfort of their own home. And, and I didn't know exactly that was going to be hypnotherapy. I was
Mhm.
looking for, well, how do I get qualified for this? And that's when I found hypnotherapy. And so as soon as I found that there was a way to learn it and get certified to teach it, and to help other people with it, I immediately signed up for the next class and I got certified. And that was back in February of 1999. And within just a few short months, I had already started my own office.
Mhm.
I started getting business license. And that's when my branch manager, where I was working as a stockbroker, gave me a choice. He gave me an ultimatum, and he told me that I could either continue working here, where I was making a handsome living,
Mhm.
or I could pursue the path that I had just started,
Mhm.
where I wasn't making any money yet.
Mhm.
And guess which one I chose?
Of course, the path of the least amount in the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
The path of, yeah. And, and it was also just an interesting situation there because, at that point in time, I was really still just a novice. I was still just a beginner. It's like I really had my mind, brainwashed just a little bit,
Mhm.
and just enough to make me, um, have all of this, this ambition, this
Mhm.
confidence, this motivation, but it was really kind of a little bit at the surface level. It hadn't quite sunk in at that point. And so I went through some hard times. I went through, some hard times at that point, pretty bad. I won't go into too many details right here. But, one thing that shifted from, where I just kept going further and further into debt and not, having my business turn around and be a success,
Mhm.
to the moment that everything really shifted was
Mhm.
when I really got in touch with the whole notion that, like, I should be taking my own medicine,
Mhm.
because I was creating all these beautiful transformational journeys, for other people,
Mhm.
but I found myself in a place where I was too busy to take time to do
Mhm.
all of that. And so I was not, continuing the work of reprogramming my mind every day.
Mhm.
And I heard the message loud and clear when things really, took a pretty nasty turn. And when I heard that, that's when I really started using the techniques on my own self again. And once I did, and once I got consistent with that, my whole world changed and my business took off. And, it took about, a year or so for everything to really turn around completely. But I never looked back, and it was a big lesson for me, and it's a big lesson for other people, because it's like once you once you learn about the power of your mind, and you start reprogramming it, it's not like a permanent change forever and ever. You're fixed for good. You have to continue, just like you have to continue, eating the healthy food or going to the gym or doing any other healthy behavior. You have to keep feeding your mind with the positive words, to help, make that change more consistent.
Okay. So in reference to that, if we were going into my mind right now, my
Yeah.
mind would tell you the opposite.
Yeah.
My mind would tell you almost practically what you said about being happy and living life. My version of it would be, and I said this recently matter of fact, I said this on the year-end podcast, that if I was happy, I wanted more.
Yeah.
And then as you wanted more, you started to get greedy.
Uh,
And the greed just got to the point where it would fall flat on your face
uh,
and you wouldn't see it again.
yeah.
So that's why I've been in that mind state of wanting to withdraw, because I was afraid of that happiness
Yeah.
taking over and destroying it.
Well, are we talking about happiness, or are we talking about a certain level of success? Because I think if you're truly happy and content, you're probably going to continue the behaviors to keep you happy. But if it's like you reach a certain level of success, then a lot of times what people will end up doing is they reach that level of success and they don't feel like they deserve it or that they're worthy of it, or at a deep level. And that's when the self-sabotage kicks in. So
Yeah.
that's where hypnotherapy really comes in, to say, ultimately to speak to the subconscious mind, because it's not you consciously that's doing it. It's a subconscious pattern, something inside of you subconsciously that's running the show. It's kind of saying, oh, it's not safe to go there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and, so it'll do whatever it can. It's, you know, it's not something you're necessarily doing. It makes you think that you're the one that's doing it, but it's really deep programming it's a pattern, and it's a pattern of is trying to protect you.
Yeah. Because I mean, I was married, and I thought I had great relationships, and I thought I was thinking I had a lot of good things going for me.
Yeah.
Well, the relationships cheated, the marriage cheated.
Yeah.
I made a mistake that cost me some time of my life, and that is going to be around, which gives me that fear of relationships.
Yeah.
And anything that I'm trying to do right now, I literally told myself at the end of I always tell myself at the end of the year, I'm going to stop being sarcastic. I'm going to stop joking around. I'm just going to be this serious person that's just going to go to work, do their job, leave, don't bother with anybody, be on the outside looking in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I try to do. In reference to this podcast could have ended. But the only reason why it's still going is because I have great people like you coming on,
Yeah.
and bringing stories out, and I have those supporters that that are like, oh, don't leave social media. You're making a difference. And then when people are saying that to me, I'm like, how? Prove it to me. Let me see the physical. Let me see the evidence. You know, it's like if it can't be proven, then why am I doing it? You know, and that's what I've been telling myself for years.
Yeah.
Everything is, it's got to be proven. It's got to be shown,
Mm-hmm.
because if it's not shown, it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
have you been getting people sending you that evidence that the podcast is changing their lives? I'm sure that you must be.
no, believe it or
Uh,
not, no. I mean,
Otherwise you wouldn't do it.
right, right. But I mean, the last podcast I did, the other day, I had a an exercise um, physiologist,
Mm-hmm.
and we discussed about lower back pain. And my neighbor came on the actual live stream that we're on right now,
Uh-huh.
and put in the question. And I mean, that showed proof. That was
There
the
you
proof I
go.
needed right there. If people now, I also apologize to you because, or actually no, because I did say to your assistant, to have to have start promote yourself coming on here, and that all they had to do was come on this live stream, and if they had questions for you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they're there and can that can be answered. So as of right now, as I'm looking at the count, there's no actual people watching this live stream.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
But
I didn't get that. I didn't get that message. So I'm
okay.
sorry if we didn't,
Oh,
do
oh,
something beforehand.
okay. It's all good. I mean, but what will happen is it'll catch up later on. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it catches up later on. So,
Yeah, most of the podcasts that I do, people will listen to for years to come, and so even if they're not here with us live, that's okay. We can
yeah,
just you and we can just enjoy it and have
yeah,
a conversation.
yeah.
And trust me, like I love to have an audience. I didn't know that I needed to bring my own audience.
Oh,
Usually, but that's okay.
yeah,
We can just have a conversation
yeah,
and you can be curious about hypnotherapy the same way that your audience might be, and you can
yeah.
ask me the questions you think that they might
Oh,
have.
yeah, yeah. And if you didn't catch the first part, believe me, you don't want to hear the first part again, because that first part, well, I, I'm still that wow, it's good, and I could wish it. But see, now when I like wish for things, quote unquote, I know I won't see it because I like what you mentioned earlier about that subconscious block and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
that
I want to ask you, Joey, have you ever been hypnotized?
never.
Never. Okay. Or you think you haven't.
I actually, believe it or not, and it's a good question. I actually went to a comedy club
Okay.
in New Brunswick, New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot who the guy was. And my niece was with me. And so she got picked, and she literally was hypnotized.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, and she's like 11 years younger than I am. 11 or 11. Yeah, she's 11 years younger than I am. And I was like, wow. If I had that way of hypnotizing her, I would have, she probably would have been a better kid than she is now. Now, if my niece was listening to it, I'm sorry. I love you. You're a great mom still. But back then, there was a lot to fix. I mean, there was a lot back then.
Yeah.
But one thing I will ask you about,
Sure.
and this is going to sound like Pandora's box in a way.
Okay.
Talk about the law of attraction.
Talk about the law of attraction.
Yep.
What do you want to know about it? What's
Explain it.
explain it?
For those that may not know
Yeah.
what it actually is.
So the law of attraction really simply is that our predominant thoughts, feelings, actions are ultimately what is creating the experience and the results that we have in our life. So whatever you spend the vast majority of your time really dwelling on, thinking about, worrying about, excited about, whatever context you want to put that into, and whatever you're spending the most of your time focusing on, that is what you're going to eventually draw into your life. And that can be a good thing, and that can also be a bad thing, because law of attraction is impartial. It really acts a little bit more, it's really mechanical, it's really just kind of like the mechanical. And so much of it kind of has to do, not kind of, it has to do with the subconscious mind, because whatever images and feelings and predominant thoughts and behaviors we hold in our subconscious mind is what we are going to experience in our outer world. And so, yeah, that's essentially, in a nutshell, that's law of attraction. There's a lot more, I could go into, but that's the top level explanation.
Please continue then.
Yeah. So it really comes down to alignment. In order to have law of attraction work in your favor, like let's say you want something. Let's say you want a house, your dream house.
Okay, I'll give you an example.
Sure.
All right, and please understand, this may sound unprofessional for a minute. I'm gonna say you. Say I'm interested in you.
Okay. You're interested in me?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, the very first thing you have to get clear, you have to get really clear, is the object that you want to focus on, is there any resistance to getting that? Like, how likely is it that you're going to be able to manifest the thing that you're actually interested in? And so you have to actually put that. And the reason why I say that is because, for example, I'm married.
Okay. Well, like I said, I apologize for being, and like I said, it's a scenario. So
I know. So I didn't know if you were if you meant like me specifically, or in general you want a woman.
Relationship wise.
Okay, so in general you want a relationship.
Yes.
Now, if you rewind probably about 15 minutes ago to the about 15 minutes ago in this episode, I believe you said something about you're not available for a relationship. Because you have been hurt, in the past from relationships. And so I think you said that you weren't available. And that's one of the things that I want to speak to, because imagine that I am the universe, or I am your subconscious mind, and you could program into you're telling me right now, you could just tell me. And so I have gotten mixed messages. I've gotten one message saying, he doesn't want to be in a relationship, and we need to keep him from that. We need to do everything in our power to make sure that Joey never gets hurt again, that Joey never gets cheated on again. And so we're going to make sure that you put up every possible resistance to being in a relationship, even though you might sometimes have this fleeting idea floating around like you just gave to me, like, yeah, it might be nice to be in a relationship. Every once in a while, you probably get that idea. But then there's the other part of you. There's another part of you that says, nope, yep, not going there. Right? Yep. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so which feeling is more intense? Is the feeling that like I really want to be in a relationship, or is the feeling I'm afraid of getting hurt again, so I am going to close myself off to all possibilities? Which feeling is more intense?
Right. Well, actually, it's more of, I mentioned that I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that took some time away from my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the boundary I use.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because within that mistake, if I went to someone, and I one thing I've been trying to do now is I've tried to learn to be transparent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I get transparent, I get carried away. And as I get carried away, I may open that box up. And when I open that box up and the reality comes out of it, society would look at me as, not allowed.
Got it.
Because I've never mentioned it on this podcast. I've come close to wanting to, only because if I did, I would also have been afraid at the time that I may lose the audience I have.
Yeah.
So that's why I've had people saying, don't say it because, why ruin something good?
Yeah.
But when I think about wanting to have a relationship in the future, that box stops me right there, because if I open it, I know I'm either going to lose that opportunity, or if I don't say it, that person may turn around and Google me and find it and then ask me, why did I lie? So
is there a particular person that you want a relationship with, or is it just in general?
Right now, it's just in general.
Just in general? But it sounds like you had somebody in mind, because you said that person would Google you.
No, I'm just saying, if I did find someone.
Okay.
If I did find someone and I didn't mention the box.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so you got in trouble at some point, you're saying. Yes. And so, so there is something that might be like a turnoff for somebody if they found that out about you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. And the thing is that doesn't have to be the case, because don't we all make mistakes?
Yeah.
Have you forgiven yourself?
No.
Okay. All
no.
Right.
And that's been my hardest thing.
Yeah.
Is I always tell myself, and I always tell people, I am my own worst enemy. I mean, you've heard that millions of times. But I literally say that. I am my own worst enemy. Or I could turn around and I could be walking down the street. I could see, like you, for example, when I complimented you and told you all that, you could have taking one look at me and like, he's creepy looking. You know? and no, and I've had people literally say, "You're creepy looking," and I took it. And
Well,
when
you don't have to own that.
but that's what winds up happening.
Yeah,
Is I
right,
wind up owning it,
right.
and as I owned it, that's what made it. I mean, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression in 2009. I
Okay.
am going to a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay.
but at the same time, like I've been saying, I've kind of been trying to close doors because I'm thinking it's, I could think it could happen, but in my own mind and and near to my heart, I won't
Mm-hmm.
see it again because of those barriers, those doors.
So let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can have anything that your heart desires. You really can. But you know, the other side of that coin is, you have to do the work to overcome the thoughts that are keeping you from having that. Because, since we've been talking, you have had you've said a number of things that, that you truly believe are going to keep you from manifesting and having a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you believe ultimately becomes your reality. So,
Mm-hmm.
how do we change that? The very first thing is, number one, you've got to be clear about whether you do want it or whether you don't want it. You can't be on both sides, of that ship. You either got to just like jump in, with both feet and say, you know, this, no matter what happened to myself, and whatever happened, I made a mistake, and I've got to forgive myself. And you've got to forgive yourself, because we
Mm-hmm.
all make mistakes, every single one of us. I've made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably one of the hardest things you'll ever do, really, is to learn to, and this is where the whole hypnotherapy really comes in. I mean, you could really benefit from these techniques, because it's just a matter of, you've kind of gotten into a habit. It's just a bad habit of thinking in ways that are keeping the old story alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got an old story, but then when every time you repeat it, and every time you talk about that old story, and you get very into it, what's happening is you're taking that old story, and from the past is not here in the present,
Mm-hmm.
but but that we're talking about the old story. It's taking that past situation, and every word we speak, every thought we think, every belief we have, every action we take, every emotion that we feel is creating our future.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Okay. Okay.
So we're keeping the old story alive,
Mm-hmm.
you know, by mentally continuing to rehearse that old story. And um you can have anything you want, and you deserve, and you're worthy of having anything that you want. You are sitting here helping people to change their lives by having this beautiful podcast. You are a beautiful man, you're a beautiful person. You're doing something beautiful for the world. You're spreading positive message, you're spreading positive joy. And
She's
and
gonna have
so
me in tears in a moment, folks.
and which is a beautiful thing. I love it. It's happy tears, and you
Oh.
deserve to have your life go the way that you want. You deserve to have it work exactly the way that you want. But you just have some, rewiring that we've got to do. You've got your mind is kind of hardwired to want to live, back there.
Mhm.
And what we have to do is we got to get clear about what's in the future now for you. What is it that you want to create? And when you get really clear about that, and then every time that old story starts to come up, you just say, excuse me, let's turn, let's focus on right now. And you can do that.
Mhm.
You can help reprogram all of that in
Mhm.
hypnotherapy, by like literally just taking and thinking about, clear image of what it is that you want, giving yourself some direct suggestions. From now
Mhm.
on, I am moving toward the relationship of my dreams, and you see it happening, and you just keep feeling it happening, and you just allow yourself to be in that beautiful space of creating a new reality. And you can absolutely do that. You can have anything that you want through the power of reprogramming your subconscious mind. But it's going to take some work. It's not like the magic mushrooms. um it is, well, it is magical
Yeah.
because it's getting into hypnosis just
Mhm.
speeds everything up. It speeds it up. It's not overnight, but it speeds it up faster than we could do on our own if we were just trying to will it with our
Yeah.
conscious willpower.
Yeah. Like, one thing I will tell you that I do is I go to the casinos. That's my safe haven
Yeah.
for the box. For the box. That's my safe haven. So when I go down, sometimes I'll if I plan it, I'll plan and stay a night. When I stay a night, this is what my focus does. I will book a room where I have to have an ocean view.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have an ocean view.
Yep.
Because in my mind, if I had someone special with me, relationship wise, and looking out at the ocean, it becomes romantic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do that all the time. That's one thing I will say I do make happen.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, um, Christmas. I'll give you the perfect example. Christmas weekend, I stayed at the Harrods in Atlantic City. I did my year end podcast. If you ever get a chance, you see the year end podcast on YouTube. It's gonna it has I'm in a nice room, and but the view wasn't the greatest. I mean, I could look to the right. I was in between two buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look to the right, you can see a little bit of the like of the bay, like the lagoon area type
Yeah.
area, and then to the left, you'd see the city. Now, when I stay like the Tropicana, I most of the time I get as close to an ocean view as I can. Like I said, and I'll look and I'll feel relaxed for a few minutes, but then like another 2 minutes later, I'll get hit with the subconscious saying, "Why did you do this? Like why did you set this up to only hurt yourself more because there's no one here to enjoy it with?"
Oh, okay. Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
So, all right.
but
So,
I try to make it work. I mean, I I'll turn, I'll be fine, and
mhm.
I'll keep looking out at it, and you know, but as I'm looking, I'm upset and depressed because I'm alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it mainly comes down to the loneliness, and
Mhm.
I did bring that up to the therapist. At the same time, like I said, I could go walking down the street, I could see all these happy smiles and everything, and I'm like, glad you're happy, you know,
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
at least you got something good to look at. I don't,
Well,
and that's what I always remind myself is, you know, if someone actually looked at me, like if you, like I said, and I'm sorry that I use an example, even though you explained to me that you're in that happy realm that I would call it. Um, you saw the person that you're seeing right now. You probably would have been like, if you weren't where you're at right now, you'd be like, why would anybody be interested in him?
now why are you making that assumption
Well,
about yourself
but
and
I'm just
about what other people might think about you? See,
only because
because
that's
you're rejecting yourself before you even give anybody a chance.
that's where I usually stand on me when I do that.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
always, before I even think of wanting to be positive,
Yeah.
I'm
Do you
already
wanna
throwing my
change
projections.
that? Do you wanna change that?
I want to, but at the same time, that reality that I mentioned earlier
Uh-huh.
is going to be the backup.
Yeah.
So even if I try to say, oh, yeah, I might look nice enough for that person, you know, but you know, later on, I open up that box, or that box gets opened, then it's like, okay, like like I mentioned earlier, why did you lie to me? Why didn't you tell me this? Or why I'm like, I haven't had a chance to tell you. You didn't. It only been a few minutes, or so on. So, like I said,
Is that a story that you're making up, or has that happened?
it's a
Like,
story I'm making up right now.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just,
Well,
I'm just.
see, again, every time we tell a story,
Mhm.
what are we doing? We're creating our future. Okay.
Yeah.
So every single time, so at some point when you're ready, because I can't make you be ready for it.
Right.
But at some point when you're ready, there are ways for you to change all that, and it starts with I want you to know, I want to acknowledge that you are on the right track by going and setting yourself up at a hotel with a nice view and treating yourself like a king and doing something that is, making you feel like that hope and like wow, I want to be here. I want to put myself in the state as if someone were going to be here with me.
Hmm.
And it's actually a really, really good thing that you're doing for yourself when you do that. But what happens then is sometimes you kind of like do let your old ideas take over. And so when that happens, what I want you to do, I just want you to just start to think about you know what is it that you do want, and what we want to do is you've got to be so crystal clear. You've got to have a new reset image,
Hmm.
and thought and feeling. So why don't we do this right now? So I
Okay.
want you to think about what is it. I want you to really get clear and hone in. What do you really want? What is Joey Calvo, like the innocent Joey Calvo? What do you really want? In just a few words.
I want to be able to enjoy life with someone that when I go to the beach and be that old-fashioned romantic I was when I got married, and
Yeah.
all the other relationships I had before the cheating started.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I
So,
I, I want to see this time around. I feel the love because I there are people on Facebook that do
uh-huh.
care.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is not as bad as it was when I was married
Yeah.
and before all that. I didn't feel the love.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one thing back then.
Yeah.
Now I do feel the love. And matter of fact, I'm even going to throw this story out because um, I need to. I have to.
Well, just wait. No story. No, no, no,
No,
no.
no,
We're
no,
not
no,
getting. No,
no.
we're not getting into the story. I'm so we've got to get into. So
Well,
what do you? There's a 3-part process. Okay.
oh,
So the first part was you told me what you want.
right,
Okay. Okay.
right.
So you told me what you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Now, because I don't want you to go back there. You don't need to
Oh
go
no,
back
no.
there.
This story's no. This is something that actually happened.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
In 2012, I had just met this person, and um, it's a complicated relationship. I
Yeah.
will say that.
Yeah.
Um, this person is in love with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a relationship,
Yeah.
but this relationship right now has been falling apart recently. But in 2012, I had just lost a place that I was living at um, because I fell behind, and I was walking over a bridge. And when I walked over the South Street Bridge, I actually looked at the Schuylkill River and I started thinking suicidal thoughts.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry.
Now, as I was starting to think the suicidal thoughts, this complicated relationship came into my mind and literally said, I would miss you if you were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it stopped me right there.
That's amazing. That's
It stopped
awesome.
me right there. And
Mhm.
that's when I turned around and I said to myself, I will never have another, like I said, I wouldn't have those thoughts again.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to bring that out because that
Yeah.
was something that was part of um, why part of my life was. But this person has been around off and on. Like I said, now it's just been we barely see each other anymore.
Mhm.
Um, but we do talk on the phone, so it's not like we're not together. We're just not physically together, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm missing more of.
Yeah.
Is the
I understand.
yeah, is
I
more of
under
the physical relationship part. Um, so please continue. I got over the first part now.
Yeah.
The first step.
So I want to get I want you to, and this is going to go beyond what we can do here in this podcast, but I want to kind of give you a few steps. And you can write this down. And if you really do want to create the relationship of your dreams, I did that. I created the relationship of my dreams, and I'm still in it. And it's been, well, we've been married. It'll be 16 years this May, and I manifested him. Okay. And actually, that book back there, How to Manifest Your Soulmate, my story is in there on how I manifested him. And there's all these tools and tips and lots of hypnotherapy scripts and things like that that you can, do on your own. But anyway, all that to say, the very first thing that you really need to do is you need to get very detailed and very clear about the kind of relationship that you want, the kind of person that you want. I want you to write out all the qualities, everything that you want, what kinds of things you would do together. Just get really detailed and allow yourself to get into that the just get into the imagery of it, get into the feelings of it as you're writing all of that out. Write a page. Okay? At least a page. That's step 1. Okay. Now, the next thing is, as you are going through this, I want you to freeze onto one image that really is the image that that really says the whole story. You know how like a picture is worth
Mm-hmm.
1,000 words?
Yep.
So I want you to think of the picture that sums up exactly what you want.
Okay. Before we go any further, just to let you know, we only have about 10 minutes.
Okay, this is only going to take about 2 more minutes.
Okay, no
Okay.
problem. I just want to give you that heads up.
Yep. So the picture that sums up exactly what you want. Okay, so step 1 was getting it all written out, getting into that. Step 2 is like get it minimized down to one single solitary image.
Mm-hmm.
Get it. I want you to think of the single solitary word or phrase. So it could be a word or a phrase that really says what it is that you're stepping into. Give me an idea of a word or phrase that might sum up what you want.
What I'm looking for is long hair women.
Women, or do you want a woman?
Woman. Yeah. But I'd say I'm into long hair women, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
A long hair woman
Uh-huh.
that I can enjoy time with.
Okay. And a long-haired woman that I can enjoy time with. Okay, that's a phrase. And so you get the image. And what's the image? Do you see, is that the image that you see? I think you froze. Uh-oh, I think you froze. Hopefully you come back. We're right in the middle of this process. Mm.
Okay.
Oh,
I
you're back.
apologize.
Okay.
Yeah. What happened was, see, I have the T-Mobile home internet.
Oh,
And
okay.
And I actually was at the auto show the other day, and I literally said the live stream sucks.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I
Okay.
apologize. So whatever you were about to say, it got cut off, and I apologize.
That's fine. Okay, so we have that you're going to write your story about the person that you want. You've got your image of the or I'm sorry, you've got the phrase of the person you want, and you've got the image. So you've got those 3 things. Okay, those 3 things.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what you're going to do. Number 1 is as every morning when you wake up in the morning, I want you to read that page to yourself. And I want you to also read it every night before you go to sleep. This should take you a couple minutes in the morning and a couple minutes in the evening. This isn't like a lot of work here. This is just a matter of, creating a new habit for yourself and loving yourself. So that's the one thing you want to do. The second thing, and this is actually much harder, and this is more of the spontaneous thing. This is whenever you hear yourself saying the negative thing, the beating yourself up thing, the like,
The woe is
like give me
me.
I'm never gonna meet, like the people, when they see me, they think I'm this or that, whatever it is. Okay. Whenever that pops up into your mind, whenever you hear yourself thinking that, whenever you see that image, whatever it is, however that thought comes to you, I want you to, boom, immediately stop everything you're doing and think that phrase, that image that you just came up with. It's just, say, I'm creating the long-haired, beautiful woman relationship, and then see the image of that happening. And that's all you have to do. And here's what's going to happen. The more you do that, so don't worry about like however many times it happens. You might have to do it 1,000 times. Okay. But the more that old image and that old thought comes up, every time you do that, and then the more you switch into the new thinking, the new belief, the new image and the new thought, that is going to become your automatic. That's going to rewire your subconscious mind. And so I would like you to, if you do want this to happen, if you do want to manifest this person in your life, that is how you can do it. You could also get my book. And, that's going to dive into a lot more deeper therapeutic processes, go overcoming resentments and forgiveness and, doing a lot more processes. But this is the simplest way. This is like the top level, simple thing that you can do right now to start to gear yourself toward having that relationship. Because you know what, Joey? You're a beautiful person. You have a positive message. You're doing great things in the world. You made some mistakes. I don't even know what those mistakes are, but you think that you've made some mistakes. And whatever those mistakes were, you deserve happiness, and you deserve to forgive yourself. You deserve love. And you can have it if you want it.
I know. The only thing is, like, in reference to the mistake, it's a mistake that society wouldn't accept.
It's okay as long as you accept it, and and that's, I don't even know what it is. I'm not,
I would have to email you and explain it in more detail.
Yeah, I don't need to know. Unless you wanted to do some one-on-one work with me, I don't need to know what it is. I appreciate you as you are. I take people as they are. I don't judge. And it's like we all have our mistakes. We all, it's I don't know. It doesn't matter to me what it was, as long as you can, you can't live your whole life carrying this bag of rocks around with you of the mistakes that you made. At some point you got to just forgive yourself, and society may not forgive you, but that's okay. You forgive you.
Okay. All right. Well, Victoria, we are running out of time. You're welcome to come back on this podcast anytime you want.
Thank you.
If you have anything new. I thank you for the session.
Yeah.
I will be thinking about it.
Good.
Only because, I mean, there is things I do want, but at the same time, like I said, in reference to that boundary, that barrier that I've got, that's what's making it harder. Is worrying about that.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
I get it.
I mean, I can get around everything else, but that barrier is what I'm worried about the most.
Yeah.
Because if a relationship goes further, then that fear could come in because of that barrier.
Yeah.
So check out Victoria at VictoriaMGallagher.com.
Yes.
And check her out. And hopefully we'll get more people to your website. Victoria, again, you're welcome to come on anytime. Just let me know.
Okay.
Shoot me an email. We'll set things up, and you're welcome to come back on here when you have anything new you want to promote. And everybody else, thank you so much for watching and listening to the Life with Joey Calvo podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Joey. And
you guys all have a great day. Okay.